This video is brought to you by Poolonomics. If you've ever had to deal with cloudy water, you're probably familiar with flocculant. But how much do you really know about this specialty pool chemical? In this video, we'll go deep on flocculant, how it actually works, and when you should or shouldn't use it in your pool. Let's start from the top. Flocculant, or floc, is a substance that binds small particles in your water together, and it's often used to restore water clarity in a pool. This process, known as coagulation, combines particles into heavy clumps of matter that quickly settle on the bottom of the pool where they can be vacuumed up and removed from the water. These clumps are made up of non-living organics such as very fine dirt, dead algae, and various cosmetics small enough to escape filtration, but high enough in quantity to contribute to cloudy or discolored water. It's important to note that flocculant does not work on living organics, including live algae, bacteria, or viruses, and it should never be considered a replacement for sanitizer like chlorine. So, how does it work? Flocculant is essentially a chemical magnet. When you add floc to your pool, you're introducing positively charged particles that seek out and bind to negatively charged particles. Fortunately, in the context of a dirty or cloudy swimming pool, most of the tiny negatively charged particles are unwanted contaminants that manage to sneak by your filter. This particle attraction snowballs into larger clumps that eventually sink to your pool floor where they can be removed. But where does Clarifier fit into all this? Well, flocculants and clarifiers are actually very similar. Both use particle attraction to form clusters of tiny matter, and both allow you to remove contamination that's too small for your filter. Where they differ, though, is in aggressiveness. Clarifier not only works slower over several days, but it also forms considerably smaller clumps that remain light enough to stay suspended in water, allowing them to be circulated and eventually filtered out. Flocculant works very fast, in around 24 hours, works on larger particles, and forms bigger, more visible clumps that are too heavy to stay suspended in water, allowing them to be easily vacuumed out. Either way, flocculant won't work in every case. You'll need to first eliminate the root cause of your cloudy water problem, or any improvement will be short-lived as new particle matter soon begins to accumulate. That means nailing the basics before throwing specialized chemicals into your pool. Testing and rebalancing your water, including your pH level, total alkalinity, and calcium hardness, is often all that's required to restore water clarity in the majority of cases. If that doesn't do it, though, it's probably a cleanliness issue. Look at increasing your sanitizer level, brushing and vacuuming the pool, cleaning your filter, and keeping your pump running for a full 24 hours before attempting flocculants. Again, only after all potential causes have been addressed, using a flocculant, or even a clarifier, is a suitable next step for clearing up any remaining debris. Now, let's touch on your filter. Remember, flocculant is designed to deal with contaminants that are too small for your filter to process, which means the more stuff that gets through your filter, the more reliance you'll have on flocculant. Here's a quick overview of each filter type. A sand filter can filter out particles down to around 20 microns, a cartridge filter can remove particles as small as around 10 microns, and a DE filter can filter as small as 1 to 2 microns. Basically, flocculant plays a larger role if you have a sand or cartridge filter, whereas it has little to no impact if you use a DE filter, since it's already capable of filtering out those extra tiny particles. While sand filters look like the loser here, they don't necessarily have to be. You can actually add a layer of DE media to your sand filter to improve its filtration. It won't compare to a dedicated DE system, but it should get it closer to a cartridge filter in terms of capability. Now, before we wrap up, we should talk briefly about the safety aspect of using flocculants. While it should certainly be treated with care when adding this chemical to your pool, it's generally safe to swim shortly after that. Flocculant manufacturers tend to dance around exact timeframes, but floc is used in such small doses that once it becomes even partially diluted in your pool, it's no longer considered harmful. This may only take a few minutes if it's applied broadly and while your pool pump is in full swing. With that being said, every product is different, so it's always worth reading the manufacturer's guidelines before jumping to conclusions. So there you have it, a full breakdown of pool flocculant, how it works, and when you should consider using it to treat cloudy water. Check the description below for links to our full companion article, along with supporting articles for many of the points discussed in the video. We also have a free downloadable and printable checklist to help with your pool maintenance schedule. You can get it for free at poolonomics.com/checklist. That's all from us. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for all things pool care.